I haven't heard you speak of one thing about advancing us. All I hear you talking about reading these old books and Western society. Well, Western society is where it's at, homie. I don't know what other society you talking about trying to follow, because we live in an advanced age. All that other shit you want to go back to will put you way behind the curve that you're already in.
Do you know who
the problem with us?
Do you know who Fela Kuti is?
What is Fela Kuti gonna do in this modern age? Tell me about them.
Question. The question is, do you know who Fela Kuti is?
No, I'm gonna tell you no, so you can explain who they are, so I can see if they're relevant to this modern age.
Fela Kuti is the James Brown of Africa. You should look him up. Okay. Fela Kuti is the father of Afrobeat. All right. You should look him up, and you should read, and you should know something about his story. All right, because Fela Kuti is very relevant. Very relevant. And what he said was, Western civilization is built upon a foundation of ignorance. And you know what? He was right. That's something you should know. You should know who Fela Kuti is, right? You should know about some of your heroes, Black heroes, right? But see, when you go to school, look, I went to an all-white high school. So where racism is concerned,
you just solved my damn problem. You let them pick on you. You let them pick on you, and now you're bitter because you didn't stand up to them. Let me hear this shit.
So you know my story better than I do. That's fine. Listen, dude, you can think what you want to think, but I understand who the misguided is. The misguided one is between us. Trust, okay? But above and beyond that, the problem is, see, you don't even know who your own heroes are. I have to explain to you who Fela Kuti is. You should know who Fela Kuti is, but you don't. Why? Because you have been integrated. You suffer from the colonized mind. You don't know who you are. You are still on the plantation. Not physically, worse, mentally. You are still in chains.
Wait, time out, doctor.
You don't know who you are. You don't know where you come from. You know who Christopher Columbus is, but you don't know who Fela Kuti is. That's a problem.
Wait, let me laugh at this real quick. You talk all this integration shit, and you lived in the most integrated shit in this Western world. You're delusional, dude. You're delusional. You grew up around nothing but white folks. What are you talking about? Don't come to this new age shit. You sound just like Fred to me. Don't come to this new age shit. You grew up around white folks, and now you trying to talk this integration shit.
First, I didn't
stop it, bro.
I said I went to all-white high school. It's a difference. Learn how to listen.
Oh, that's even worse. So you left a Black community to go into a white school. So what was that about?
Learn how to listen.
What was that about? I'm listening.
Learn how to listen. That's the first thing, okay? Now, second thing is going to an all-white high school. When I actually lived in an all-white community, I learned something. I learned something about Western civilization. I learned something about race in America. Okay? I learned something about integration. I learned a lot of things. All right? And sometimes that's what needs to happen so that you can learn from experience. Experience is the best teacher. I have years on you, so I have more experience than you do. Trust. Okay? And above and beyond that, I have credible sources who back what I say and speak 180 degrees of the nonsense you talking. Now, let's talk about Martin Luther King, right? Martin Luther King's last speech, which I'm sure you've never read, okay, because you don't know anything about your own history, all right? But in Martin Luther King's last speech, he says, I quote, "I fear that we have integrated with a burning house." Okay? Okay? The name of the speech is "Why America May Go to Hell." That is the name of the last speech that he wrote. And in it, Martin Luther King says he fears that we may have integrated with a burning house. The reason why I know that is because, see, I read old books. Okay? And I actually know something about Black history and Black people in our place and where we come from. I'm not some house Negro repeating the stuff that the slave master implanted in my mind. I actually learned how to think for self. That is what we were about prior to integration. Thinking for self, self-determination, which is the reason why we had things like Black Wall Street. Why? Because we were intent to do for self and not accept the handout from the slave master, which is what integration is. Okay? You are accepting a handout. Master, sir, please give me my freedom, sir. Okay? Can I sit on the front of your bus, Mr. Master? No. Why do I want to sit on the front of your bus? Why do I want to integrate with you? I can just have my own. That's how you get to be equal, when you have your own shit instead of asking to integrate with someone else's shit. Think. That's what you integrated Negroes can't seem to learn how to do. Add 1 and 1 is 2.
Wait, time out. Fine, doctor, let me say this. You come from the most integrated shit, and here you are trying to speak some old Black Panther shit. Now, you lived in a white neighborhood, you've been treated like shit, and you were silent about it. Now, once you become of age as an adult, you want to talk all this righteous shit and speak against a society you come from, but a society you chose or your parents chose to put you in, that you didn't grow up around Black folks, but you reached this age to where you've been rejected by white folks. I'm pretty sure if I knew who you were and looked at you, you were one of these, what we'll probably term as an Oreo or whatnot, that you went into trying to seek the good grace of white people until you had your Negro moment, right? And now you want to be righteous and all that shit. No, you got around some fucked up individuals who make you feel this way. But I guarantee you, you weren't always skipping to this drum beat.
Let me know when you're finished. You done?
I'm done. You hear me? I don't go long with it. I pause where you go.
You were done before you start talking, to be completely honest, because everything you said makes less than no sense. Okay, there's only one of us who makes sense, and everyone who's listening knows who that person is. Trust, you know who that person is.
It's you, Fight Doctor. Sure, it's you, brother.
Because, dude, you haven't made a lick of sense, and you are not making any sense. None, because your mind is still trapped. You are still with this integrated nonsense. You are still on the plantation. And look, if you wish to live on the plantation, that's fine. You go right ahead. Stay on the plantation.
But Fight Doctor, let me ask you this question, because you.
Let me finish. You stay on the plantation. Us runaways, we gonna get away, and we're gonna do our own thing. So you can stay under the whip or in the house, because you might be a house Negro, okay? But us runaways, we gonna get away from that nonsense. We're not gonna live up under the whip. No, we're not doing it. We're gonna get away, and we're gonna have our own. And we're gonna do our own thing. And we're not gonna integrate. We're not gonna do it. Why? Because we don't want to live up underneath the whip anymore. Because that's what integration is: living under the whip.
All right, question for you. Where are you from, by the way?
I'm from Chicago.
All right, so and where did you live in Chicago?
I live on the South Side.
And what school did you go to out there?
What difference does that make? It's all the same.
No, it does make a difference, because you stated you went to an all-white school, so that's what it means. So I want to know that you live in an all-white community in Chicago as well.
There are no all-white communities. Well, I'm sorry.
Yes, there are. Chicago is one of the most segregated damn cities in this country.
There are no all-white communities on this. Well, actually, there are all-white communities on the South Side, but not many.
Many. So no, you dancing around it. So you were one of the. There was a few Black folks in the neighborhood you come from, right?
No, the community that I come from was all Black. Now, I grew up in a community called Auburn Grisham on Chicago's South Side, right next door to Inglewood. That's where I grew up.
And it was predominantly Black. Your neighbors are all Black, right?
Where I grew up, yes, it was all Black.
Right. So you went to an all-white school, though, right?
We moved to an all-white suburb, and I went to all-white school.
Let me hear more of that. So when did you live in this Inglewood neighborhood? You must have been a very young kid, and there's a reason why you left to go integrate with white folks, right? Let me hear that, because I know how to dig right into folks who talk like you. Let me hear that.
I just explained to you. What else do you need to know? My social security number? You need a
sample? I don't want you to leave out these holes, because I identify who you were, because I can read profiles of people when they speak that I got you. So now you left your neighborhood and you moved into a white suburb.
Wait,
let me hear that.
First of all, let's get something straight. I didn't do anything. Okay. I was too young to do
Your
anything.
parents did it for you. Let me hear this.
Exactly. Okay. I didn't do anything. Now, as an adult, I do things. As an adult, I live in an all-black community.
No, but let's go back into this childhood thing where your parents moved you into this white community.
First of all, that was then. This is now. Now that is my background. Now,
Checkmate. Checkmate. Let's move to boxing. Checkmate.
Listen. Look, if you wish to live on Fantasy Island, who am I to bust your bubble? You go right ahead. But again, like I said, one of us is on the plantation still, one of us isn't. And I think everyone who's listening can determine between the two of us who is on the plantation, who isn't. Right? So you stay living underneath the whip. You go right ahead. You wish to be integrated? You go right ahead. It's a free country.
You live integration for us, Fight Doctor. Let's move on, man. Checkmate, man. Checkmate.
I choose to be one of the runaways. That's what I choose to do. Okay.
I figured you out, man.
So stay on the plantation with your ragged clothes and the scraps of food that fall off the slave master's table. You must be happy. It must be delicious. You go and you eat that. Okay. You eat
Fight Doctor, man. I ought to be an FBI agent. I'm great at profiling people and figured you out. I'm sorry. Okay. Mark, we can move to boxing.
Listen. Well, I understand why you wish to change the topic because your ass is getting roasted. Okay.
Fight Doctor. No, I'm not. You just revealed to us who you are, which what I've been telling you are.
Yeah.
You're a kid who comes from living in white society, and now you want to reject it all of a sudden.
First of all, every black person in America lives in a white society. That should be painfully obvious to anyone paying attention, but apparently you aren't.
We live in an integrated society. I don't believe in white folks just dominating shit. Come on, bro.
Well, if you don't believe white people are dominating, then obviously you're not paying attention because they've been dominating for the last 500 years. Ask the Native Americans.